Sometimes you have to face reality. It was a challenge, you know, dealing with things that you have no control or authority over. And unfortunately, it's not going to work. I have to quit this operation. It's not magic. Check 1 2, check 1 2. And just like that. Team, if you need to extend the range of your current communication infrastructure, one of the things that you can do is throw in a repeater. Now, I have messed with this thing quite a bit, and I have a win here at the house for my operations here. So this is a Redivus 10-watt GMRS programmable repeater. And although it's marketed as 10 watts, you're going to be lucky to get that. But let's just say you only get 5 off the antenna that I have on top of the command post. I can reach out about 4.5 to 5 miles down the valley straight. I can reach up and over the spur and into the draw where I do the majority of my training. And I can reach out, and I can get all the way to the top of my ridge line, which is 1 mile as the crow flies. And I can reach out across about another mile through the vegetation that we have here. So I was hoping to be able to do something different. I was hoping to be able to take my big GMRS, my mobile radio, and leave it here in the shop, and then set this up about 10 miles where I can hit pretty effectively with my big radio, and then use this repeater there to extend my range from there out. I've done radio work for over 2 decades, the majority of that being in the military, and I can tell you that it is super nice to have all of the things and all the stuff that the military can provide you with in order to be able to sustain operations. And one of the most critical aspects is your comms, right? How are you going to communicate with your unit down below? How are you going to communicate up above? How are you going to communicate adjacently? Well, here in southern Appalachia, I have a problem, a serious problem. I have a ton of vegetation, and I have a ton of micro terrain features. And my house is about 10 miles as the crow flies, to my right, your left. And when I use a 50-watt GMRS radio, I can hit here where I'm at. It's kind of a straight shot coming right down through a valley. The problem is I can't reach out beyond that. So I thought, well, hey, let me set up a repeater. Now, right up on this hill, I have a repeater, GMRS style, and a antenna. The problem is that this spot here, although line of sight work may tell you that it's going to work okay, you have to get out and you have to practice. You have to prove what works and what will not work. And unfortunately, it's not going to work. I have to quit this operation. I'm not quitting radio altogether, but I have to refigure what I'm going to do. Fortunately, I don't have access to, I mean, I do have access to a really good spot, but it would be on national forest land. And once I put it up there, because it's not private, you know, essentially government could do whatever they wanted to with it, and I'm not willing to give up a few $100s. Not to mention, even up here, I don't have power, so I have to have mobile power, or I have to set up a solar system in order to do this. And until I can prove a location works, I'm not going to invest the additional money into that infrastructure. So we're going to retool and refit, taking this back to the house, and I'm going to set this up in the shop. Go up here and we'll pack this thing up. What you think, pup? Is that a good boy? It was a challenge, you know, dealing with things that you have no control or authority over. If you have your comms figured out, leave some comments down below. You know, again, the type of terrain that you're dealing with. You know, if I was out west in Colorado, where I was just at on a vacation, and I'm out on the plains, 5 watts and a regular antenna, even a rubber duck, man, I'd be good to go for almost anything I could ever want to do, but it's just not the same everywhere. So we got this up on a hill. We'll go take a look at it. I know my power is already dead. We'll take as much of a 360 look as we can. Hondo's right behind me, trying to come up this little hill. Come on, pups. Oh man, I got freaking wasps up here. So there's my antenna, power inverter or power generator, GMRS repeater, and you can see I have some really good line of sight, right? I can see to the top of the mountain, but what I can't do is see down in those two valleys that are back here, right? And so that poses some serious constraints because of the micro terrain features and the vegetation. I can't reach from here into town. Like, it's ridiculous. So let's take a look at this setup. So it's just a little Redivus GMRS repeater. You can pick them up pretty easy. Look down in the description below if you want to check these out. But let's go ahead and get this thing back to the house and we'll get it set up there. But, you know, that's all part of the process, you know. Working on things, figuring it out, seeing what works, what doesn't. What I can tell you is if you don't figure it out now, when you absolutely don't need it, you're not going to be able to figure it out then when you do need it. Alright, so when you buy the kit, it does come with the antenna that's up there. I have another antenna back at the house already on my shop that we're going to hook up to. You do have a hand mic and some other power options, so it's a pretty good kit. You just have to know and understand what you're getting yourself into when you buy a box like this. The great thing about it is I can throw it in my truck and have a mobile repeater or relay station, if you will, or I can leave it stationary. So in that regards and in that respect, it's pretty good. So we're gonna take this to the house. What should you reasonably be able to expect from this repeater, right? Well, with a good antenna and a 5 or 10 watt radio, you're gonna be able to get a couple miles where I'm at. Again, that's not going over terrain features. Although sometimes, you know, radio frequencies are weird. They'll do some crazy things, but it's not magic, right? Radio is not magic. But if you had something where it was in a great elevation and you're shooting across flat ground and there's not a ton of vegetation in the way, you might be able to extend that to 10 or 12 miles. And so if you have a repeater like this set up, that means, you know, you can connect something 10 miles away to something else that's 10 miles away in the opposite direction. And now you can take a couple radios and, you know, basically at least double what you're going to be able to get. So again, you know, if I had my big radio in the shop and was able to hit down here where I had the repeater set up, and there was somebody else of equal distance away going in the opposite direction that was able to hit the repeater, well then now, or even, you know, bending around a terrain feature, now you got something that's really awesome. I'm just not gonna be able to get that here with my budget. You can interlink repeaters. That's always an option, and there's a lot of private communities that are out there that have, you know, some pay-to-play systems set up. Georgia's one of them. So you could always look into that. But if you have a farm, if you have a small piece of property like I do, and you want to make sure that you have effective communications throughout your property, this is a great option. But you know, having this box set up right here, plugged into 120, of course I can plug it back into the trunk if I want to have a mobile radio station, but it is effective. It's super easy to use, and I mean, it's so easy a kid can freaking play with it. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. And just like that, we got a repeater set up here in the command post. So again, whether or not you're on a small homestead, a small farm or ranch, where you just have a small section of property like I do, and you're not trying to cover the world, if it were. Now, if you are, then you probably need to look at an HF radio, and this is probably not the one that you want to use. This is more of a QRP rig. But I can listen to around the world comms sometimes, and I can reach out regionally anyways. I haven't made any contacts overseas, but Kentucky, Florida, Virginia, got radio logs, so we keep track of everything that we're able to do and listen to and communicate with as well. And only pushing 10 watts, I do a pretty good job with that. And that's more of a true 10 watts than what you're going to get out of this repeater. So just something for your kit bag, you know. Again, man, it's all about analyzing your terrain, knowing who you want to talk to, how far away they are, and what everybody's budget is. Again, you know, we're not in the military where we have a free-for-all budget to do anything and everything that we want. So a couple $100, this repeater is going to do exactly what I want it to do, and it will do it effectively. Maintain comms from the house to the repeater out into my training area, and being able to connect my training area here with my training area down the road a little bit. So it's going to work out pretty good. Team, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts and your comments down below, whether it's a struggle and frustrations that you've had personally, or whether it was a victory. Everything that happens down there is that's where all the magic is, and that's how we all learn and grow from each other. I appreciate you guys, man. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked. Team, if you want to master your craft and develop your tactical virtue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you can stay up to date with future content. Consider becoming a channel member. It's going to give you exclusive access to content not available to anybody else. I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.
We know you're out there! Come to my voice!